Good morning. Sort my lens out. There we go. Started off. I've already cleaned my skulls up, so I'll give them a bit of a wash down. Looking nice. I'm just going to leave them out here for the time being to dry off a bit. I might even put them into like my warming cabinet just to thoroughly dry them off before I take them back inside. But I'm happy with them. They seem to have all come out okay. The other ones I did yesterday, I've glued up the bits that broke off. They almost look right, and I've sent a message to Jo, who I'm passing them on to, so hopefully she's happy with them. I'm now going to, what am I going to do? Leather, let's clean that leather work up. I have got my little oven set up for the Kydex as well, so I'm going to be sorting that out. I'll just put them to one side. I grab those bits of leather. Want a rag? That'll do. So we go. They look a little bit matte just because they need a bit of a clean down. What I do is I just get a cloth and I'll take off the excess wax that's been left on, especially on the outside bit because it's already had the Canova cream on, which is a wax base anyway. So I'll just give these a bit of a rub down. Inside, yeah, the inside's good. Then once I have got the excess off, find my brush. Normal shoe polishing brush, and just give them a rub down, brush down even. And I think what I said in one of my earlier videos, this one is going into stock because I made it the wrong colour. So if anybody's got a ticker 22 rimfire and they want a bolt holster for it, I've got one. I suppose it'll fit others as well. It's just that I know that a CZ one, I'm sure the CZ bolt is totally different to what the ticker one is. Tickers look like got the head similar to what the main full bore rifles are. There we go. Nice and shiny. Now I've just got to work my way through all the other ones and the bullet pouch, and then I can get them all wrapped up. These are all going to Paul, so I'll send Paul an email and a few photos later, just to say that they're done, and then I can get them in post. Each time I come out, keep looking for a few deadheads just to sort out. There we go. Keep it flowering. Right, so I've taken photos of those and I'll get them sent over and I'll get them posted out tomorrow. Next job is sorting out some Kydex. Right, so grab these two. So I've already cut my Kydex. That's all ready to get heated up. Let me just get me. I've got a little bracket here that I use for sorting out the belt loops. Just need 4 clamps for that. There we go. Right. Start off with a belt loop bracket. I've got a small little toaster oven that's the type that you'd find, well, I got it from Go Outdoors ages ago, I think. So I'll just warm that up. Get me other heat gun, because I'm going to heat up the press as well. So all I do with the heat gun is just rest it on the side, low heat. I like to warm up the press so it don't cool the Kydex down too quick as you're closing it all together. Right, check the a few seconds longer. Kydex you have to get up to something like 150, 151 degrees centigrade. Then it becomes pliable. I'll show in a minute. can see it's all gone a bit floppy. I put it into this at a slight angle. Get the other part of the mould or the form, press it on. Just clamp it up. Right, so that's my belt loop. Right, we'll start with one of the knives. So I've got a piece already cut out. This is going to go for one of the catchers. So I could, plenty big enough because it's only a short bladed knife. I'll put it right to the end of the Kydex and just wrap it all round. So this is 2mm Kydex. I do use the 1.5 stuff. But that's usually for the naked ones because it moulds around a little bit easier, or anything a little bit smaller. So alright. Right, I've got to keep an eye on temperature. As you can see, it's still quite solid, or maybe just. I have got a temperature, one of those laser temperature gauges as well, just to keep an eye on things. So I'll put the knife in, wrap it round, put it into the mould. I'll close the mould up partially, and I'll just push the blade down into the Kydex just so it makes a nice fit. Pull it together. There we go. One at the top. It's a very Heath Robinson clamp, but press rather. But I made it ages ago and it works, so there's not been much point making another one. Maybe the only reason to make another one is to start with the 2 sheaths at a time. But right, that's in place now, so I don't have to do it with that. Check my belt loop. That's probably cooled down enough. It'll take a bit longer for that to cool down just because it's got the foam around it. It's a bit more insulated. There we go. That's the bracket for the belt loop. I have got to. I can get everything done today, but I'm going to have to do the actual belt loops on tomorrow because I ain't got the webbing stitched up. I'll be getting that done tomorrow. But that's one piece done, so I might as well start with the next piece. Right, so on to my next step. That is one Kydex moulded knife. You can see the divots along the handle of the sculpting section. So it's got a nice fit. I put the tape on just to give basically a little bit of gap between the knife and the Kydex, especially along the blade area, mainly because if you put it on fit to fit, basically straight on, if with Kydex you can always get grit inside the sheath and it'll just scratch everything up, and if it's basically if you haven't got any little bit of space at all, there's no room for anything, so it just makes it even tighter. So basically that's why I put the tape on it. So that's that one done. Now the first thing that I'll do is I'll drill the first few holes, or drill the holes along the blade. This one, because it's one of my catchers, it's a short one, it'll only need like four holes going along. So 2 that I use for long rivets, 2 for short ones, but I'll show you that in a bit. I'll make a line where basically where the plunge line is. It's just a good reference point. I've got this little tool that I made up handy with a milling machine, where I've gone along and I've spaced out all the holes on it. Now all these holes are 3/4 of an inch apart, which comes in handy, let me show you, for things like tetlocks and clips. Generally they're all set out for 3/4 of an inch. So I've got that to put onto a project, well, a knife that I've got to make up. Part way there, I'm going to make the handle for it, but I'll be showing that as I'm going along. Right, so the first hole, like I say, I've got one side with 6, one side with 5, but I'm only using 4. The first hole is going to be, say, level with it or just below. Not quite level, just offset from where the hole mark is. Put a line on it. I'll also, just to help me along, put the edge where the knife is, I can just see the difference in the light between the different levels. So that's where the first hole's gone to go. I'm happy with that. It's got to have enough, basically low enough that it can give enough give for the Kydex bending. I might just do it a tad lower because the last one will be there. Yeah, that's all right. Put it there. I'll drill it with a 6.4. So the rivets are 1/4 inch, which is 6.3mm. I've got a 6.4, just gives that fraction bit of clearance and makes it easier to put on. So I'm just going to drill this. Right, first hole drilled. Next thing I do is I'll get myself one of the long rivets, put that underneath, put that back over the top again. Have I got a clip anywhere? No, I'll just go and find a clip. So I'll just fit a clip onto it just to hold it in place. Then I'll drill that bottom one. Right, bottom one's done. I put another rivet into that bottom hole, and the reason I do that is just then it just holds it in place so I can get them all lined up. So I'll just drill the following 2 holes and then I'll be able to show you. There we go. So that's all the holes drilled for the Kydex. Next thing I do is I'll put a line where I want to cut. So I'll just put a few rivets in. I use this, it's one of my pricking irons for my leather, but it's sort of a nice sort of width to give us a bit of a line, so I know where to cut. Just with a pencil, just going along. So I'm going to cut along that line. I know that the end of the blade is about there. I can see where the nails raised it all up, so I'm just going to put a line across that bit. And then I'm going to cut it about there. Take the rivets out. So that gives me the lines of where I want to cut all the excess out of the way. Just tip the knife out. Bend it. There we go. That's the knife out, that can put to one side, and I'm just going to cut this lot. Next step, done. Now I'm going to put it onto the grinder. You can see that I ain't cut right up to the lines, it don't really need to be. All I need to do is make it somewhere close, and then I'm going to basically grind it all to the position where I want it. But one thing I do want to do is just line up my belt loop, so I just need to get one of those pieces. As you can see, I've got an angle. The reason I do that is it will go mess the blade out, and it's a sort of nice piece. If I was going to put it on the opposite side, then I'd have to rotate it so it won't fit on the opposite side if you're doing like a left-handed sheath. Can do left and right-handed, it's just that obviously right-handed seems to be what most people are. To be honest, if you are a shooting person and you carry your rifle on your right shoulder, you're probably better off with your knife on your left hip anyway, especially with Kydex and if you've got a plastic stock rifle, because they just tap on each other and knock. Right, so put that into a reasonable position, about there. Same again, just clamp it on so I know it's in place, and then I'll just drill those top 2 holes. Drill the first one, put a rivet into it, hold it in place, and then drill the second one. Hold it together with a clamp, and then when I grind that edge, I'll grind that bit off as well, so it's all at the same level. Right, I'm going to stick my ears back on, and I'll just video a bit of the process. So keep watching. Right, so that is now the sheath section done. I'll just get the tape and everything off this knife, and then I'll put it in just to make sure that it all fits all right. Now I thought I'd just film me taking the tape off, but I suppose you didn't really need to do that anyway. But there we go. That is in the sheath. What I will do, nice snug fit. Yeah. I need 2 rivets at the bottom, I need 2 rivets over the top, which are the longer ones that hold the bracket on for the belt loop, and then I need to shape out the belt loop, so that's the next piece I need to do for this. But one thing I know to do for the sheath is this top section I bend over and use it as a thumb rest, because it can be awkward to push in it, not necessarily push the knife in, but to pull it out. I've seen people go like that and they'll be straining like mad, all of a sudden pull it straight out. I have tried a few other people's sheaths, and there was one in particular, and it was really tight. For my opinion, it was a bit too tight. That's one of the reasons why I put that little bit of a gap there. It helps pull them out. But you put the thumb brace in, and you can basically wrap your hand around the knife and push with your thumb, and it just pushes easily. But when we get a bit closer, I'll show you what I mean by that. But the next thing I need to do for this is the belt loop bracket. Now, where did I put it? Put my gloves on. Take the knife out. It's quite a nice fit, that, actually. Oh, it helps if you switch it on. Now just warm the top of it up. You can do localised heating of the Kydex. So if it's a bit too tight, you can just work it on this area here. Just slacken it off slightly, but to be honest, it's not too bad. I'm just warming it up, and I use my finger there, or my hand there, just to prevent it from warming up any other part of the Kydex. I only want this top piece to be warmed up. You'll gradually see it, it'll start to try and stretch back out. I can see it there now. It needs to be quite hot to move, so like I say, 150 degrees is when it gets ideal, but before that. But if you're taking it down to, I don't know, it's dishwashers, what are they, go up to about 60, so you can still put these in a dishwasher. There we go, and all you do is put it in there. Now these bits will be a bit tighter, and with the belt loop on, it presses up against it a bit more. So take that out. Perfect. And it's not going to go anywhere. One thing I'm going to do next, I'm going to cut some blades out, but basically I need to draw them out. I've got some row stalkers, and I've got some Muntjac Catchers to sort out, so let's have a look at that. Right, so what I've got here is a piece of 14C2810. This is one of the steels that I use, and the other one is ABL. Now, I've got a bunch of these row stalkers, which are already cut out of ABL. They are laser cut out. I've got a batch of them done. I've got a load of them to still get hold of. Basically, when it comes down to cutting blades out of steel, in my opinion, laser cutting is time efficient, because you can get a load of blades just cut out, get them sent off, and you don't have to waste time cutting them. However, I don't know if it's very cost effective, because if you've got the time, you might as well just cut them out. So basically, I've got them done, but I'm doing a bunch of Muntjac Catchers, because I've got an order for one, and I need some blade blanks sorted of them. So I've got a form here, profile that I use. All I'll do is I'll put it onto this steel, and then I'll just cut them out. I've got a bandsaw, and then I'll finish them off with my grinder. So what I need to do first is, where's this blue? Ah, no, that's the wrong. Is bluing, or engineer's blue, and basically just paint it onto the bit of steel. I have got, like, for using the edges, where is it? There it is. So I've got one of these like acrylic pens. Handy for if you're doing a small area, if I'm doing my bevels, if I want to put, basically it's just a localised area. It's useful. However, when you want to do a full piece of steel, you might as well just get the brush that's in the bluing tub and just paint it all on. It's just a lot easier for me. If I the brush is a bit knackered because it's been used that long, and all I do is just get a big tub of the blue in, engineer's blue, and just pour it in. Whilst getting high for fumes. There we go. Just leave that to dry for the time being as I'm getting caught up. Leave back up here. Actually, it's that time of night. I think what I'll do is I'm going to wrap up here and I'll start cracking on with these tomorrow morning. I'm pretty much caught up with sort of like all the little bitty bobby sort of jobs. So now I can just spend a bit of time in workshop and just cut steel and grind steel, make sparks, and end up with a load of steel dust up my nose. So with that, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.